in the spiritual awakening that we are going through. We are going from resistance to non-resistance in our thoughts, words and actions. And this is happening one individual at a time. But at the very core, it is a complete shift in the very fabric of reality. Hello from Sweden, and welcome to Everyday Mystic, a gentle guide to your liberation. My name is David, and I hope that you're feeling well and that you're having a good day. Now, as you are going through this process of spiritual awakening, you will more and more notice a very tangible shift on the inside. This is not just an intellectual conviction, but this is something that you will feel more and more of in the very fabric of your being. And I actually would like to recommend you to watch a movie that is available on Netflix. It is called The Secret, Dare to Dream. And I'm not going to get into a discussion of whether there is legitimate critique against the book that the movie is based on, because there is a very specific reason why I'm talking about this movie. Namely that I want you to study the attitude of the character Bray, and in general how people are speaking in the movie. Because how you are speaking is very important when you want to understand how your real attitude works. Because just as the Bible says, the mouth speaks of what the heart is full of. And you cannot really fool yourself with this. You might think that you have a certain attitude, but what you really have inside of yourself will come out in subtle ways in how you are speaking. So, the point is not whether this actually works in reality. If you pay attention to what is going on though, you will probably see that people with a more positive attitude, as long as it's genuine, generally also have a better life. But it is an emphasis here on genuine. This is not about putting on rose-colored glasses or some fake it till you make it. If you try to do this, you will most likely find that you have a lot more negativity in your speech than you were priorly aware of, if you take some time to observe yourself. And to make it very clear, I'm in no way perfect at this. And I actually have an example from just the other day. I was working on one of my Etsy stores with a payment problem. And I was talking to my wife about it, and I said, like, if they have to complicate things this way, they could at least make it work for me. And of course, I can't do anything about this, but yet I started to express negativity about it. And I promise you that if you observe your speech on a day-to-day basis, you will find your own similar examples to this. And so remember, this shift starts on the inside, and it is becoming more and more tangible as this process progresses, until you come to a breaking point, and this is actually something that happened to me recently. It is not that I am on the other side of this completely, no, not at all, but I saw very clearly where this is heading. And this is just going in one direction. But we can kick and scream all the way to the breaking point if we want to, and make our lives very painful and miserable in the process. Or we can align ourselves with the process to the best of our abilities. And as I said in the beginning, it is about non-resistance in our thoughts, words and actions. Again, pay attention to what is going on here. Pay attention to how you behave, and pay attention to what is going on inside of your head. Now, there are a lot of ideas out there about what is going on. We have the idea that we are going from 3D to 5D reality, and I think there is something to this because I am noticing a very distinct shift in my perception. I am not viewing reality the way I used to just a few years ago. There is also this idea of a timeline split that is connected with quantum physics. And I don't know the details of this. I try to focus on what I can understand, what I can make functional in my own process. So I'm only talking about things that come from my direct experience here. But neither do I dismiss all of these more esoteric ideas about it, because there is something very, very profound happening here. Something where the world won't be the same afterwards. And I see a lot of people dismissing this as new age woo-woo and things like that. And I can promise you, these people that dismiss things in this manner don't know what they are talking about. They have not taken the time to actually examine this. They just want to dismiss things that they don't understand. So, I stick to what I can say for sure, but I try to stay open to whatever I find on the internet about this. Because there are so many things that I don't understand. And there are also many people that seem to know what they are talking about, but I cannot say for sure because I cannot relate it to my own experiences. But what you can find in my channel is where I try to make things very practical and very relatable. I try to give you very concrete steps that you can take to align yourself with this process. And as I said, it's about a shift on the inside, a flip from the negative to the positive. And this is very important, because you can feel how things actually flip from one side to another. And the more you can just relax and let go and follow the flow of this process, the more of these little subtle shifts you will be able to observe it within yourself. For me, on a personal level, and it's actually very funny that my wife said the exact same thing just the other day. There are still a lot of problems in the 3D reality, but I am less bothered by them. They don't seem to matter to me that much anymore. And when I'm not that bothered by them, funny enough, I am much better at handling them. I don't fly off on a tangent when some problem occurs, which usually makes me cause more problems for myself. Instead, I just take a step back and say that, well, now this happened, how can I handle this in the best manner possible? And this is something that makes it more easy to handle the problem, and it also makes me waste less time on focusing on negativity. So you can see how this happened in a very tangible physical way, but there is so much happening below the surface on the inside that no one else sees. People can just see what is happening, what is taking place in the physical reality. And there are quite a few things that you can do to align yourself better with this process. And the funny thing is that while this is so profound, there is a whole universe opening up on the inside. When I am in certain states, I can really feel how this is happening, how there is no real distinction between the outside and the inside, and that we have this connection with God's infinite consciousness on the inside. So actually we are connected with infinity on the inside. This is also something where I am speaking from my personal experiences. This is not just some woo-woo beliefs out there. I have seen this, I have felt this, I have experienced this. But the funny thing is that on the outside in the physical 3D reality, it's usually the more simple stuff that we need to get in place. So first and foremost, or at least among the foremost things, is that stop stressing. You need to calm down. You cannot allow every little thing to trigger you into a reactive mode where you just frantically try to fix everything. And also you need to take your power back. As David R. Hawkins says, power, not force. Don't try to force things to happen, but just find this calm center within and work consciously from there, making proactive choices instead of reactive choices. You will be much more effective in this manner. You will not waste time on all of these unnecessary little tasks that you do as soon as you are in reactive mode, and you will instead be able to focus on what is essential. And remember, this is a gradual process. So don't try to stress and force the process in itself. Remember, it is about going from resistance to non-resistance. From force to actually make powerful conscious choices. And therefore, practice mindfulness. Stay centered, focused and grounded in the present moment. And observe yourself. Observe your thoughts, words and actions, and observe what is going on in the present moment. When you do this, you will start noticing that there are so many things that are hidden in plain sight, both within and without, and actually also focus on what is going on inside of yourself. And you will see how energies and so on are starting to wake up in your body. You will notice these little subtle shifts inside that have been taking place all along, but you were not aware of them. And they will also be a helpful guide when you are trying to make the right choices in the physical 3D reality. This should really not be that hard when you get these little things in place. And what you will notice is, as I said, that you handle difficulties better, you have more positive thoughts inside of your head, and this comes out in a more positive manner when you speak to other people, and again in how you handle your day-to-day issues. And now, savor this moment. Build on them. This is important. Don't just let them pass by. Think of them consciously. Remember them. Memory is also important, because the more you focus on your little victories in your day-to-day life, the more easy it will be to create more of these victories in the future. This is a very real, tangible process that you can be very aware of as it is happening if you just pay attention to what is going on. And as I said, there is a very real shift in perception that is taking place. You will see much more positivity out into the world. You will pay attention to things in a different manner. The world will also come more and more alive to you. Even though you see the same things out there, things seem to be in a different light. They seem more vibrant, more alive, and you will start to feel more connected to the world and to other people the more you go through this process. For example, this was something that I noticed many years ago but didn't pay much attention to at the present. I started to notice when I was walking outside in the summer and how the raindrop hit my face, and I felt every little raindrop against my face. Understand what I'm talking about here. When you actually pay attention to your little physical sensations instead of just being off somewhere else, you will notice how this very intense shift is starting to happening. You will see how things are starting to shift on the inside as a consequence. There is no real distinct line between the outside and the inside, and this is also something that you will find out the more you go through this process. So as I said, this is a complete shift in the fabric of reality, at least as far as I can tell. And you may ponder the consequences of this a little bit. Because if this is a shift in the fabric of reality, this might not just be localized to our little planet. Maybe something is happening in the whole universe. And yet, you are most benefited by actually focusing on these little things that I've been talking about. Stay in the present moment, stay focused, centered, stay grounded, and observe yourself. Because the present moment is truly the gateway to eternity. This is what Eckhart Tolle is talking about as well. That the more you can just stay present here. And again, notice the subtle shift that is happening when you do this. And also notice every time that you actually lose consciousness. Because in the beginning, when you go through this process, this is something that happens every other second or so. And you just need to learn to more and more bring back your attention to the present moment. And instead of trying to struggle with wanting to be somewhere else or being caught in regrets about the past, you just allow things to flow effortlessly from the present moment. You will go back and forth with this. Sometime you are in more struggle mode, and sometime you can actually get more in alignment with this flow that I'm talking about. And ultimately, and I know that this is a provocative statement, there is nothing wrong with anything. And you need to have the eternity perspective to understand what I'm talking about here. Because eventually everyone and everything is going through this shift. In the future somewhere, I don't know exactly how this is happening. And really time is just an illusion anyway, but somewhere down the line of this process, things will really start to shift where things are. Just like the Bible says, God will wipe away all your tears. And the lion will play with the lamb. And as the Christian mystic Julian of Norwich said, and I really love this quote, it's so simple. She was living in the 14th century, so long time ago. And she was talking about everyone and everything and the whole destiny of the planet. With these simple words, all shall be well. And this hit me so hard when I read this. I don't know why this was so profound for me. Maybe it was about that she was living in a religious context that was very condemning, that was very oppressive. And when she had her encounter with God, with divinity, the clear message that she received about everything in this creation was, all shall be well. And that's it for today. Like, subscribe, comment and share the video on social media and other places. And check out the description and the comment section for other things that me and my wife are doing. Especially check out my store Trickster Saint, where you will find my own creative works. And other than that, just sincerely thank you for your time.